Gandhi simply loved. How did Gandhi do it? Again, love is an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something. And as a verb, it's to feel deep affection for someone, something. History teaches us that love was compelled through religion. That's where love came from. Who remembers this one? If we don't love one another, then we'll go to hell. If you don't love one another, you go to hell, or you live a life of eternal pain. Some people believe that you should love so that you can be happy. See, we have this medieval type of love, and that was based off religion, based off of multiple different religions. You don't love one another, you're going to live a life of eternal pain. That's the medieval concept. The modern concept is you should love so that you can be happy. In order to be happy, you have to love. That fails on 3 accounts, 3 total accounts. It fails on individualism. Love is giving, not taking, not holding or possessing. To love, to feel happy, is to imply that you come first. To love, to feel happy, is to imply that you come first. When you say, I love you, you're focused more on the I. You're not focused on the you. Because you believe that love comes first for you, for your happiness. You believe, I love me before I love anybody else. That's individualism. That's selfish. That's not what love is. Number 2, materialism. It implies that love starts with self, equating it to self-love. Plastic surgery, Amazon, spending money on material trophies is not self-love. It's a temporary fix. It's the same thing as buying drugs, as buying alcohol to make yourself feel better. You have a void. You're trying to fill it with things. You're trying to fill the void with things and calling it love. Men and women do this a lot when they get out of a relationship. They have a void from that relationship. They haven't healed. So what do? There's a lot of the time they go grab another man or woman and fill that void real quick. Isn't it always a temporary fix? From my experience, it is. These type of things get you excited momentarily, leaving you craving in the long run. It gets you excited momentarily, like money. I know everybody would say, I'd rather cry in a Lambo than cry in a Civic. Money doesn't make you happy. Money can't give you love. It just can't. It excites you. The only thing it does is excite you. It excites you for an hour. The first time I made 5 figures, I was excited. I was jumping around the room. I was crying. I was so happy for about 2 hours. And then I got used to it. I said, all right, maybe we go get more. First time I made 6 figures, I got excited. I was jumping around the room. I never had that much money in my life. It took 2 to 3 hours. I wasn't as excited anymore. I said, all right, well, where do we go from here? What do? Do we spend it? Money just excites you. Money cannot bring you happiness. Money cannot bring you love. It is materialistic. So again, to imply that you have to love to be happy, to love is to feel happy, it's not going to work. Makes you materialistic. Rationalism. Loving to be happy inspires you to be egotistical. It inspires you to stoop to any level of pettiness you can in order to win and achieve the goals you love that you think will make you happy. See a lot with people going in business. They will do anything. People will do anything to get to the top because they love success. They love success so much, they're willing to screw over the next person so that they can get to the top. It almost makes you a sociopath. I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that love is none of these. It's not there to make you happy, self-satisfied, or triumphant. Why should we love? Again, I'm going to ask you, why should we love? Why? If love is none of these, if love is not there to make you happy, self-satisfied, or triumphant, why should we love? We should love because it is what we were meant to do. It's not just our truest nature. It's the true nature of nature itself. It's the circle of life. The tree, listen to me. Let's break this down really quick. The tree shelters the grass. The grass roots shelter the soil, and the soil holds the water. Let me say that again. The tree shelters the grass. The grass roots shelter the soil. The soil shelters the water. The water goes back up to the tree. Everything in nature protects each other. Everything in nature has a certain thing that it does. Multiple things that it does. Now, what does this have to do with love? What does this have to do with love at all? This is our nature. Our nature is to protect. Our true nature is to protect. It's what we're meant to do. We're meant to protect. We're meant to create. If you have anything other than love inside of you, you cannot create. You get out of a creative mind and go into a competitive mind. Now, what is a creative mind versus a competitive mind? A competitive mind, say when it gets into a market, it's unrationalistic at all. It's not rationalistic at all. A competitive mind thinks there's only a finite amount of sources in the world. A creative mind doesn't worry about the amount of resources in the world. It goes and creates. You can only do that with love. You can only create content with love. I can only create these videos with love for the next person. I could sit here and just have conversations with friends all day about this, but I bring it to you, men and women, because I care. Because I realize to change the world, just like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. Everything coexists with each other. Everything. And in order to be in harmony with that, you need love. See, the problem is that you're seeking a reason to love. You're looking for, why should I love? When the actual reason is love. Rewind that back. The problem is you're seeking a reason to love when the actual reason is love. You don't love for any other reason other than to love. You don't care for the next human being other than you just want to care for them. When you're being a genuine human being, you give without the thought of receiving anything in return. So in order to truly love, you have to give love without the thought, without the expectation of any love in return. But I'll tell you how funny that works. In order to get anything in life, you have to give first. To give respect, to get respect, you have to give respect. To get love, you have to give love. So if you're seeking a reason to love, you're not loving for the right reason. You're not looking at the next person like you just want to give them love. You just want to love the next person. That person who's sick, that person that's angry all the time. Love them. You know you're not going to get it back. You're probably going to get an attitude back. That's okay. Love them. Love them. Just love them. You can listen, you can love somebody from a distance. You don't have to love them up close. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying give them a hug. I'm saying be loving. Because as you are sitting there being loving, you're going to free your mind. Whatever hateful thing they're doing, whatever negativity they're bringing to the table, whatever negativity is out there in the world, listen, it's not going to affect you because you made a decision to love. You made a decision to focus on a positive emotion, the strongest positive emotion there is, love. I just told you, Gandhi took over the world with love. He didn't have let me reiterate this for you guys one more time. He didn't have an army. He didn't have guns. He didn't have weapons. Gandhi barely had anything. Gandhi gave. Gandhi loved. Gandhi received. He took over the world with love. An idea took over the world. An emotion took over the world. And not one drop of blood was shed. That's how powerful love is. Love can separate or it can bring together. In ancient Greece, there was 2 cities that went to war over love. People go to war over love. That's what I was talking about. The unrationalized part of love, that wasn't really love. Everybody thinks they're in love. You're not in love. You love yourself. When you say, I love you, you're more focused on the I. You're not focused on the you. What we want to get to today is when you say, I love you, you're not focused on the I, you're focused on the you. You're saying, I love you instead of I love you. I love you. Now, how do you do this? How do you go about that? How do you go about any of this? There was a Buddhist monk named, I may butcher this, not Han. He said, understanding is love's other name. When you look at a homeless man down the street, do you love him? I'm not talking about, did you give him some change? Did you buy him a burger? I'm talking about, did you take the time to love him? Sometimes you don't even have to say anything to anybody to love him. You can look at that man. Understanding is love's other name. How many of you have sat down, maybe on a park bench, maybe talked to him, maybe just looked at him from afar and tried to understand him without judgment, without bias, without tainting your opinions and your thoughts with anything else? How many of you have seen what looks like a sick man and been able to try and understand him? That means take yourself out of your shoes and put yourself in his shoes. All of a sudden, you don't see a homeless man anymore. You don't see a disheveled man or woman. You see somebody that's been going through it. Maybe they're mentally ill. Maybe they just got dealt a bad hand in life, and they're playing the cards that they were dealt. How many of you sit there and really try and understand other people? If you're married, how many of you actually sit there? Yeah, the first couple of years are great. How many of you actually sit there years on later and actually try and understand that person instead of just throwing up a wall? It's just the way he is. He's just an asshole. He's just. How many of you actually try and understand your significant other? I mean, honestly, there's really 4 main parts to love. Kindness. That's being friendly, generous, considerate. Pure kindness is the first part of love. Second part of love is compassion, sympathetic pity, and concern for the suffering or misfortunes of others. Compassion. Have that compassion. Joy, a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. And equanimity, which is mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. How many of you can maintain all four of those? I can't. I'm not perfect. None of you can. Nobody's perfect. However, how much effort do you put into it? Some of you just think love is a feeling. Love is an act. Love is a verb. Love is also a thing. Love is also a noun. But more often than not, especially since us human beings are inherently pre-wired, we're genetically pre-wired to be negative. That goes all the way back to cavemen. The negative ones, when there was a noise in the big grass, the negative ones stayed away from it. The positive ones went to go see what was going on and got eaten by a lion. Now we don't need that anymore, but it's been passed down, passed down, passed down, passed down. It's part of your paradigm. So when you see that homeless man or woman, that homeless woman, how many of you have kindness? Pure kindness. I'm talking about pure kindness, not kindness. Pure kindness, pure compassion, pure joy, and pure equanimity. Now, most of you have kindness, compassion, and joy, but most of you don't think about equanimity. Let's go over equanimity again. I love this one. Mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. What does that mean? That means when the shit hits the fan, you don't lose your head. If you go to show kindness, compassion, and joy to that homeless man or woman, and they spit at you, they act a certain way, they throw stuff at you, they're just completely rude. You offer to buy them a hamburger, and they just want cash. And you say, no, I'm not giving you cash, man, but I'll buy you some food. Let's get you some clothes. And they spit in your face. You still have love then? You still have love then. If you made it and you're successful, all those people that wronged you back then, all those people that told you, oh, you can never do it, you can never do it, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn around and shove it in their face? Or are you going to sit down, have some equanimity about the situation, have some kindness, compassion, and joy, and love them? Forgive them, Father, before they know not what they do. Even if you don't believe in God, that's all right. That's okay. That's your freedom of opinion. You have free will. Treat everyone as if you would want to be treated. Treat another person as you would want to be treated. I'm stumbling over my words. Treat everybody as you would want to be treated. Everybody thinks about that. Yeah, that's cool. But when you show the kindness, when you show the compassion, when you show the joy, and you show the equanimity, and you still, time after time after time after time, get hate, it starts to wear you down. That's where I say love is an effort. Love is an act. You have to constantly put work into love every single day, and it's tiring, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's tiring. I know it's hard. But I need you to sit down, and I need you to know that if you can learn to love unequivocally, love like a dog, I tell everybody, love like a dog. You want to know what unconditional love is? Here's unconditional love. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do this. This is just an example. If you lock your significant other and a dog in the trunk of your car and leave for an hour and come back and open that trunk, guess who's going to be happy to see you? Yep, you guessed right, the dog. Again, please don't do that and blame it on me. Listen, a dog is unconditional love to the fullest. But you see oftentimes in animal shelters, and it's sad, it makes me cry. That dog that all he did was love and love and love and love and just got beat down and beat down and beat down and beat down again. He's scared. He's scared to love. He's scared to trust. He may lash out. He might bite you. He may fear bite you. That's all right. Love him. Love him. And you see those videos on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere, Snapchat, where if those dogs are given enough love and enough time, they go right back to being loving. See, love is our nature. It's our inherent genetic nature. Yes, we were genetically hardwired to be negative. However, we were also hardwired to be communal beings, to be loving people. You are nature's highest form of creation. You are God's highest form of creation. You are made in nature's image and in God's image. They're both one and the same. So who are you to say you can't love? You can love. Spiritually, you are absolutely perfect. You are perfect spiritually. Problem is, society and your past trauma has dumped shit and shit and shit and dirt and everything and trash and everything on top of that spiritually perfect mindset. And now you got a brain full of mush. Now you're sitting here trying to wrap your head around what I'm saying. And I'm trying to tell you, listen, it's okay. If you don't know how to love, you can learn to love again. At one time, all babies know love. All babies know love. So you came out of the womb knowing how to love. Somewhere along the line, you lost that. Maybe you never lost it at all. Maybe you're very happy in your life, very successful in your life. You're a great human being. Maybe you just need to put a little bit more work into true love. True love. Unbiased love. Now it's also accepting yourself and learning to love and heal yourself. That doesn't mean, like I said before, that you need to love to be happy. You don't have to love in order to be happy. However, in order to love like a dog, you have to be accepting of yourself. You have to be accepting of yourself and all your flaws, all your strengths, and everything that comes with you, who you truly are. You need to learn to love and heal yourself. Learn to love and heal yourself when nobody's around, when you don't have enough money to buy anything. You know the best way to do that is turn your phone off. Go somewhere in nature. Go walk a trail. Go do something by yourself in nature. That's when you start getting really connected with yourself. That's when you start even just meditating. If you're in a city, cool. Meditate. Turn everything off. Turn all the distractions off. Meditate. Get to know the inner you. Go fishing. Fishing's good for that. What you're going to do with all of this is you're going to practice mindfulness. You're going to practice mindfulness in such a way that you can create your own moments of happiness and joy for your own nourishment. Let me say that again. Let's rewind that, bring it back. Practice mindfulness in such a way that you can create your own moments of happiness and joy for your own nourishment. That means when you need it the most, when you're having a bad day, when work sucks, life sucks, everything just sucks, you can walk away. You don't have to have a bad day. You don't have to have a bad week. You can have a bad couple minutes. You can have a bad hour. And the way to break that cycle, the way to make a bad hour not turn into a full day is to practice mindfulness. Ground yourself. If you're having racing thoughts, anxiety, everything, Walk outside. Look at the trees. What are the leaves doing? How are they blowing? What's the bee doing over there? What's the grass doing? Notice everything. You have to see the forest through the trees. Notice everything. Stop thinking about what's in your head and start focusing on what's in front of you. Everything. Even if you can't go outside, that's all right. Count the ceiling tiles. Count the floor tiles. Put your mind somewhere else. Be mindful somewhere else. Be mindful of what you're presently doing. But do it in such a way that you can create your own moments of happiness and joy for your own nourishment. Listen, when you can do for you, you can do for others. You can't do for others unless you do for you first. There's too many people in this world, and I was one of them. All they do is give, and never give to themselves. You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to fill the cup up first, and then you can pour from it. How many of you have an empty gallon of milk in your refrigerator that you take out and pour a glass of milk? It doesn't happen. It can't happen. It's physically impossible. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to practice mindfulness. When you can do for you, when you can fill your cup up on demand, then you can do for others. Now, a big part of love also that you need to learn is trust, respect, and confidence. A lot of this goes into relationships. These three really go into a lot into relationships. Trust. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself to go out there and do what you need to do without screwing up that relationship? Do you trust your significant other to go out there and do what they need to do and not screw up the relationship? Is there mutual trust between you both? Trust is just one of those things. It's easy to lose and almost impossible to get it back. Kind of like a sheet of paper, you know? Look at this index card. Pretty perfect, right? All good to go. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it again. This index card is like trust. Once the paper's folded up, it can't be perfect again. Once you break that trust, it can't be perfect again. Respect. Do you have respect for yourself? Do you have respect for yourself? Do you have respect for that other person? Do they have respect for themselves? You have to give respect to get respect. So if you're constantly disrespecting your significant other, they may respect you out of fear when they're around you, but they don't respect you. Nobody else around you respects you. If you can't give respect, you will never get it. If you can't give yourself the self-respect that you deserve, you will never get that respect. You will never respect yourself unless you give it to yourself. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can give you self-respect. Self-respect, it comes from self. You have to respect yourself. You have to respect your time. We're going to do a whole nother video on respect. I could feel it. I could feel that coming. Confidence. We just did a whole video. Well, half a video. Tuesday about confidence. If you haven't seen it yet, go back one video and watch forgiveness and confidence. Go to the middle part, watch the confidence part. I suggest watching the whole thing, but confidence is key. If you're lacking confidence, then you're insecure. Insecurity breeds jealousy. Insecurity breeds toxicity as a whole, completely. But listen, to get all three of these things, is pretty much in it of the same way. Listening. Trust. You're going to trust yourself or trust somebody else. If somebody's going to trust you or trust themselves, they have to listen. You have to listen to the things that are going on around you. You have to listen to yourself. Listen to your thoughts. If your significant other said, yeah, I'll be right back. It's going to be, I should be about 15 minutes. And you're calling them in 16 minutes, where are you? You don't have trust. You don't have trust. You weren't listening to your thoughts. Because if you were listening to your thoughts, you'd probably be looking at it saying, I'm pretty untrustful. Why am I untrustful? And you'd probably try and get to the root of that issue. Respect. You have the respect to listen to somebody. There's two types of listening. Listening to understand and listening to respond. Only one of these is respectful. Only one of these will give you the trust. Only one of these will give you confidence. Can you tell me which one it is? Listening to understand will give you trust, respect, and confidence and help you with that love part. Unless you trust, respect, and confidence and have confidence, you can't properly love and you can't properly be loved. However, on the other side of the token, if you're listening to respond, you're not hearing anything that has been said at all. Right now, you guys are listening to understand me. So you're tuned in. You may be having some thoughts come in and out, but you're not listening. You're not thinking about what you want to say back to me. When you're listening to respond, you hear maybe one thing the person said, and then you're so focused on what you're going to say back that you miss the entire rest of the conversation. You may hear bits and pieces. Your mind may put it together and go, this is what they were going to say, and fill in the blank. But you didn't have the trust, respect, or confidence to sit there and actually listen to them. Listen, the good Lord gave you, nature gave you 2 ears, 2 sets of eyes, and 1 mouth for one reason. So you could listen and see twice as much as you speak. So you can listen and see twice as much as you speak. You can't properly listen if you're running your mouth. You can't properly see anything if you're running your mouth. So in order to use these 2 ears and these 2 eyes, you need to shut your mouth and listen to understand. Again, when you say, I love you, I'm going to keep repeating this. When you say, I love you, focus less on the I and more on the you. This isn't about you. When you say, I love you, it's supposed to mean I love you. Not I love I. I love you. So I'm going to trust you. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to have confidence in you. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to have the kindness for you. I'm going to have compassion for you. I'm going to have joy for you. I'm going to have equanimity for you. I'm going to keep an even head. You. I love you. We're all connected. ladies and gentlemen, we're all absolutely 100% connected through love. I can tell you right now, if I didn't love my fellow man and woman, if I didn't love every single one of you, I wouldn't be here. I don't get paid for this. I do this because I want to make a change. I want to make a difference. It started with making a difference within myself, learning to love myself, accepting myself, and learning to love and heal myself. I practiced mindfulness. I still do. I practice mindfulness in such a way that I could create my own moments of happiness and joy for my own nourishment. I realized that when I could do for myself, I could do for other people. And here we are. Now I'm telling you that I've learned these principles, that I've applied them to myself, and now I am teaching them to you. Apply them to yourself. And in that way, we will forever be connected. We're connected in more ways than one. Our minds are connected. You guys are here because we're of a similar mindset. That's why you guys are here. We all have a similar mindset. We all want more. It may be in different capacities. It may be in different areas of life, but we all want more. We all want to expand our minds. Jesus Christ in the Bible says, love one another as I have loved you. If you're not cool with the Bible, cool. That's all right. Treat everyone else the way you would want to be treated. Love one another as I have loved you. Even if you don't believe in the Bible, listen, it's still there. You don't have to believe in religion to read the Bible. You don't have to believe in the Quran to read the Quran. There's still knowledge there. Love one another as I have loved you. In the Christian faith, Jesus Christ is the epitome of good. He's completely selfless. Completely. In the Christian faith, he gave his own life for the world. Love one another as I have loved you. That's a perfect example of unconditional love. Unconditional love. Love one another as I have loved you. That means don't look at that homeless man or woman down the street. Don't look at that person who's maskless in Walmart who's pissing you off. Your racist neighbor, the this, the that, whatever the news tells you to hate, whatever is on the hate agenda, that means you love them instead of hate them. You come from a place of understanding. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. I'm talking about actually unconditional love for another person. I don't care if you punch me in the mouth. It may take me a minute, but eventually I'll love you. I don't care what happens to me anymore because I know that I'm going to come from a place of love. And because I'm having those good vibrations, those good thoughts in my head, those good thoughts are now turning into good emotions, which are now turning into good actions. And that's the way it goes. In order to love, you have to be grateful first. You have to be grateful for what you have, and then you can love. If you're not grateful first, you can't love. You have to be grateful for what you already have. That doesn't mean you have to settle for where you're at. You have to be grateful for all that you have, all that you have had, all the good times and the bad times. Because every decision and everything that's ever happened to you in your life has led you to where you are now. You wouldn't be the person you are without all of that. Listen, I need you to be grateful first, then you can love. Once you attain gratefulness, and you can attain love. It's the way it goes. Listen, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you have to give love to get love. Now, love versus hate, right? How many people have been in a relationship that says, I love you, but I hate you? Love breeds hate. There's a law of polarity that Einstein taught us about a while ago. To every action, there is an equal to or opposite reaction. So to every positive thought, there must be a negative thought. To every negative thought, there must be a positive thought. To love, there is hate. They're both of the same token, just different sides. Where there is love, there will be hate. Where there is hate, there will be love. Whichever one you choose, they're both complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Whatever decision you make brings you closer to either hate or brings you closer to love. When you want to be petty, that's going to bring you closer to hate. That's going to bring with it everything that comes with it. Every negative thing. If you start putting negative emotions in your head, those negative thoughts are going to turn to negative emotions. Those negative emotions are going to turn into negative actions. You're going to end up with a negative vibe. It's called the law of vibration. Whatever you plant in your head will manifest itself. Whatever you plant in the farmer's field of your mind, whether it be corn or nightshade, which is a poison, will grow. You always reap what you sow. Plant love. Listen, hate destroys, love creates. At the end of the day, that's what's going on. You're either loving or you're destroying. You're never in the middle. Your actions fall to one of two sides. Are you loving or are you hating? It may look like a middle area. Well, I'm not really loving them. I'm not really hating them. Is what you're doing positive or is it negative? Is it a positive impact? Is it a negative impact? The choice is yours. Now I'm going to leave you guys with two quotes. Two quotes that I love, that have helped me, and I hope they help you. The first one is kindness is choosing love over hate, light over darkness, compassion over judgment. That's by Random Act of Kindness, Ractivist, it's called. Random Act of Kindness and then Tivist, so Ractivist. Again, kindness is choosing love over hate, light over darkness, compassion over judgment. The second one, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too big a burden to bear. That was written by Martin Luther King. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too big a burden to bear. Martin Luther King. Now with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming to the call. Thank you all for coming to the Mindset Calls. We do these Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Please do not forget youtube.com/mindset with Ed. It'll be there. As soon as we get off this call, it's going to be uploaded right there. Please like, subscribe, share. There's 4 or 5 other videos on there right now. Go check them out. When you have nothing to do, throw them on. It can do nothing but help you. Guys, once again, don't quit. I love all of you, and I believe in every one of you. Have a great